I'm going to talk about one of the carte de visites that's featuring in the exhibition. It's a studio portrait of the Māori rangatira Ratene Hihitawa from Ngāti Pāoa. I chose this image because I think it's an especially sympathetic studio portrait of him, and especially so for the period that these images were taken. It's one that, in my view, really retains the dignity and the character of the individual, and especially so in a genre that sometimes represented the subject in a manner that was awkward or inconsistent with who they were. So this, I think, is an especially poignant representation of this particular tupuna. Something that I really appreciate about this particular image is it's an especially good study also of his facial moko, his tattoo. With the tattoo as it was applied to the face, it was made using chisels, so in effect it was actually carved across the face, and it grooved through the skin and left deep channels, and those channels were then infilled with pigment which left the blue colouring. So it was very, very similar to wood carving in effect, and was incredibly striking. Something that is actually often missing in photography. You don't get a sense of how deeply channeled the tattoo is, and most of us are actually more familiar with facial moko through the works of artists like Goldie and Lindau. So when you see a study like this, it becomes very, very clear just how the tattoo was applied. You get a much better sense of the process, and the overall effect is incredibly striking. And in an image like this, it just continuously draws you in, and you find yourself tracing the lines of the moko across his face, and in between which is retained in this particular photographic study the character of the man himself, and the two taken together are utterly compelling.